Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope all of you are having an awesome week so far. Welcome Samar. Hi Kishtiz. Hi Ariadna. Students, this is an IELTS reading class. We're going to do a reading passage together, answer some questions, look at some strategies, and find ways to improve your IELTS reading score by looking at how to apply better strategies, improve reading fluency and comprehension. Students, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, please visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are our websites. They power these live classes. They have all of our materials, practice exams, interactive courses, lots and lots of videos for you to improve. This is what our academic IELTS website looks like here with this blue background. And all you have to do to become a premium member is just click this big red button over there. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access, costs between $30 and $50 US. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent. We're here to help you master the IELTS exam. General IELTS students, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. And again, just click this big red button and you're good to go. Students, we have the apps for your phones as well. They are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. You can download those apps from your app stores and link them to the web apps so that you can access both the web and the mobile app. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. Good to have you with us today. Hi Sakiro, Binance Moonbix. Always good to see you. If you have questions, students, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. We should return with a reply within 24 to 48 hours. Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And of course, if you enjoy this live class, then make sure to subscribe to this channel, like the video, and you'll get notifications of live classes when they're happening every single week. Students, I'm looking at the chat here, so I am looking at what you're saying. I can see that Sakiro is saying, how can I score high on my IELTS? I want to score at least 7.5. Sakiro, the trick to scoring high is, of course, regular practice and good strategy. Good strategy, lots of practice. That's really the simple way to answer that question, okay? Make sure you do an assessment, see where you're at. So Kishitz, make sure that you measure your current score level, and then you can design the right study strategy to get that band 7 on the 27th of September. Okay. Kustub, the Zoom links for the upcoming premium classes have already been shared for this week. So if you didn't get that, make sure to send me an email. Premium students, you get 2 extra classes, live classes each week. This is the link to the playlist, so you can check that out. I'll drop that into the chat. There it is. So if you are a premium student, then you will get a task 2 writing class on Thursday and a speaking class on Friday. For those of you here on YouTube, today it is reading. Tomorrow it's speaking, and tomorrow we'll use some Zoom for you to speak as well. And you're always welcome to check out new videos on the channel. This one right here to help you learn. All right. Students, with reading, so today we're looking at this passage here. It's called Explosions in Space, Supernovae, one of my favorite passages in our practice exams. It's fun, it's exciting, it's interesting, and sometimes in the IELTS you get a little picture to help you imagine and visualize the topic. In this case, you're looking at a dying star, the last moments in the life of a star before it becomes a nebula. dust in space. Students, when you see the title, so when you see explosions in space, supernovae, before you start reading, before you start looking at questions, you really should take a moment and think about the title. That will help your brain prepare for the information to understand it better. So here's a quick question for everybody. When you think about a dying star, when you think about a supernova in space, and you don't need to be an astronomer, you don't need to know astrophysics. It's not that detailed of information. You just have to think, what do I know about this from my life, from school studies, from movies, from my reading? So your first step always is read and think about the title. What do you know? Okay. So what do you know about supernovae? Or a supernova. Okay, supernova 1, supernovae multiple. So when does a star die? What happens when a star dies? Okay, sometimes maybe the first thought you'll have is, oh, a shooting star. Sure, and that's not a bad first thought. Okay, so you're thinking, well, maybe I'll see a shooting star. And that's possible. Usually shooting stars are comets or meteors. Okay. Maybe you'll think the star is really old, like billions of years old. Maybe you think it's a big explosion, very powerful. Okay. All of those are really, really good ideas. Kshit says maybe they change into a black hole. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so get those thoughts going. Start thinking about that, because that will help you to understand the text. Very good. Okay, and students, just share your thoughts in the chat here. So I'm looking at it. That's why I can kind of see what you're saying, and I can see that you're paying attention and you're thinking, hey, what does happen when a star dies? Okay. All right. So once you've done that, once you've thought a little bit, just 30 seconds. It doesn't need to be long, but 20-30 seconds. Focus on that and think, okay, what do I know about this? Right. Then you can look at the questions. And when you're looking at the questions, read the questions at a normal speed, not too fast. You don't need to stop and try to understand every question and all the words, but just read them just to get some more ideas about the text. Okay. So this question here, 27 to 32, by the way, this is coming from the first exam book in your premium package, for those of you who have it. This one here says, which paragraph contains the following information? Note, by the way, you may use any letter more than once. So basically, you have to eventually understand these and match them to the right paragraph. Okay. Number 27, mass energy conversion. Okay. So a lot of energy is transformed. When you're looking at these questions, students, especially these match the information to the paragraph, what you should do is you should try to think about what this means in your own words, English words. Try not to translate on the IELTS. Translating is not too effective if you're going for that band 7, 8, 9. So think about using your English here and paraphrasing. So what's a different way to say this information, right? The requirements for a type 1a supernova. Okay. So the conditions needed for a type 1a supernova. Right? Okay. So think of different ways. Now I'll leave that to you, but again, this will help you. Why? Because the passage is always showing you information with different words than the questions. Okay. So this is a really important strategy to practice at home. Okay. So step 2, look at the questions and interpret them in English with your own words. Simply put, paraphrase them in your head. And of course, when you're at home practicing, you want to do this on paper. Okay? Why? Because the passage is always paraphrasing the questions. Okay, it's very, very rare that you actually see the same words in the passage that you see in the question. So you want to master this. It's key to a high score. Okay. All right. So let's read through these and then make sure at home you paraphrase these as much as you can. Okay. So supernovae as intergalactic measuring sticks. Heavy elements come from supernovae, the fuel used for stars. Now, again, students, this is an academic reading passage, but if you're taking general IELTS, section 3 looks like an academic reading passage. So keep that in mind. Okay. Supernovae are the progenitors of much of existence. Now, if you don't know words like progenitors, that's okay. You don't have to know every word. By reading the passage, you will probably be able to understand it. That's the idea. Okay, so if you don't know what progenitors means, don't worry. We'll come back. I'll tell you what that word means if you can't figure it out. Then we have complete the sentences below. Choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. Okay. We're starting to realize, okay, there's a couple types of supernovae here. We're talking about the energy that's produced when they die, how they die. Type 2 supernovae originate from a star, which is something. The energy producing process in a star converts something into something else. The death process starts when all of the hydrogen is used up. The star then begins to process something elements. Okay? All right, so students, again, just stay confident, even if you're, you're kind of like, oh, this is a lot of new vocabulary. That's totally okay. You should realize just some simple thoughts like, okay, we're going to be doing a little bit of chemistry here. I recognize the word hydrogen, elements. Again, before your IELTS exam, everybody, it's a really good idea. I said this last week to review some grade 12 textbooks in English, of course. And students, this is a reading class, so make sure you're reading as much as possible with me, okay? The first element that can no longer be fused into another element is something. Okay, now we have some multiple choice. For the multiple choice, only read questions, don't read answers. Answers can be confusing and contain lots of extra information. So number 37, the sun will not become a type 1a supernova. Why not? The sun, of course, is our star, our lovely, beautiful, big, shining star in the sky. Number 38, the Chandrasekhar limit is... Number 39, if 2 type 1a supernovae are observed and one is brighter than the other, what can be concluded about the dimmer one? Okay. Supernovae can be compared to something. Okay. All right, good. So we've got two types of supernovae. We've got a little bit of physics, maybe a little bit of chemistry, just some basics, right? So now what I do is I go back and I read. Okay. Students, you don't need to read super fast. Okay. The IELTS is not a game of, or I should say the IELTS reading is not a game of skimming and scanning, searching and seeking for answers. Ideally, in the reading section, you're reading, understanding, and answering questions, and maybe doing a little bit of searching for some of those tricky questions or difficult questions. Okay. All right, so read with me, everyone. Explosions in space. Supernovae. Supernovae are among the most spectacular events in the universe. They are incredibly powerful. In just a few weeks, they can release the same amount of energy as our sun will release in its entire lifetime. Supernovae are also the origin of many of the elements that make up the universe. Most of the elements of the periodic table require enormous amounts of energy to produce, and supernovae are the only source of this energy. Due to their consistent brightness, supernovae are used to measure large distances across the universe. Okay, so that is the introduction, students. Just a quick moment here. The introduction has all of the information summarized in the passage. So really pay close attention to that. And let me show you a really cool piece that you have on your website, students. So this says CD2 track 7 here for this reading passage. So let's read this with a British reader. As many of you know, the IELTS is British. I'm Canadian. We're going to jump back. Now, again, for those of you who want all the best IELTS materials to study from, join our premium package. This is the general IELTS at gieltshelp.com. This is the academic. You have your My Student account. And then in your My Student account, you have audio CDs for all the listening sections, but you also have audio for all of the reading sections, like this one.
Physalia Physalis.
Okay.
Why study philosophy? There are two schools of thought when it comes to education. One side believes that
all
education
of that reading is
should
there. Here we go.
Supernovae. Supernovae are among the most spectacular events in the universe. They are incredibly powerful. In just a few weeks, they can release the same amount of energy as our sun will release in its entire lifetime. Supernovae. Supernovae are among the most spectacular events in the universe. They are incredibly powerful. In just a few weeks, they can release the same amount of energy as our sun will release in its entire lifetime. Supernovae are also the origin of many of the elements that make up the universe. Most of the elements of the periodic table require enormous amounts of energy to produce, and supernovae are the only source of this energy. Due to their consistent brightness, supernovae are used to measure large distances across the universe. There are two major types of supernovae, type 1a and type 2. There are a number of differences between the two, but the main difference is the process by which they come into being. Type 2 supernovae originate from a dying star. A star begins to die when it runs out of fuel. Fuel for stars is the element hydrogen. For their entire lives, stars fuse hydrogen into helium, producing energy in the process. This energy comes from the difference in mass between the helium molecule and the four constituent hydrogen atoms. 4 hydrogen atoms have a mass of approximately 4.0318 atomic mass units, while a helium's atom's mass is approximately 4.0026 atomic mass units. The difference between these two values is the amount of mass which is converted into pure energy. In a dying star, there is no more hydrogen. all that is left is helium. At that point, the star begins to fuse helium molecules together to form carbon molecules. Once all the carbon is gone, the star moves on to even heavier elements, and the star consumes these heavy elements at faster and faster rates. A star may take 10 million years to consume its hydrogen, and then take 1 million years to consume its helium, 1,000 years for the carbon, 3 years to consume the neon, 3 months for the oxygen, and only 5 days to convert all of the silicon into iron. There is a stopping point, however. Once the core of the star is entirely iron, there can be no more fusion. This is because the small difference in mass that is converted into energy is not present in the case of iron. The star is then left with an inactive iron core. Once the iron core reaches a certain mass, called the Chandrasekhar limit, the star can no longer exist under its own weight and collapses in on itself. The result is a cataclysmic Type II supernova. The other type of supernova is the Type Ia. Type Ia supernovae are formed most commonly in binary star systems, where there are 2 stars which rotate around a common point. For a supernova Type Ia to occur, one of the stars has to be a white dwarf. A white dwarf is the remnant of a low-mass star that has come to the end of its stellar life. Our Sun will one day be a white dwarf because it lacks the mass needed to blow up in a supernova Type II explosion. In a binary system, the white dwarf star gravitationally attracts matter from its companion star, with the matter taken from the companion star becoming part of the white dwarf. Eventually, the white dwarf will have added so much mass that it begins to approach the Chandrasekhar limit. Once it hits this limit, just like in Type II explosions, the white dwarf can no longer sustain itself and the core of the star collapses. The star blows itself up in an even more spectacular event than the Type II explosion. Type Ia supernovae are extremely bright. If the Sun were to be replaced by a Type Ia supernova,
it would appear 5 billion times brighter. This brightness is also very consistent from one supernova Type Ia to another supernova Type Ia.
This consistency has led astronomers to use supernovae Type Ia as what are called standard candles. A standard candle is used to determine how far away an object is. For example, if we observe a supernova Type Ia in a nearby galaxy, we can tell very accurately how far away it is by comparing the apparent brightness of the supernova observed with its absolute brightness. Respectively, if the supernova is very bright, the galaxy is quite close. If the supernova is very dim, the galaxy is very far away. Supernovae are responsible for every element in the universe that is heavier than iron. Every atom of gold, silver, tin, and lead, as well as 80 other elements in the universe, were born in supernova. Supernovae are also the origin of most newly born stars in the universe. Our Sun, for example, was born from a cloud of dust and gas that was left over from a supernova. The Earth, likewise, was born from a supernova. It is not too imaginative, therefore, to regard the plants, animals, and humans on this planet as a development of this supernova. Every atom of our bodies was once scattered in a supernova explosion. Therefore, many scientists believe supernovae are the crucibles of existence itself.
Awesome. Okay, so students...
Hello there. Have a seat.
Again, check out your audio materials in your full course. You have listening, reading, and speaking section audio. And of course, students, you've got over 200 lesson videos for helping you prepare. So once again, if you're looking for a comprehensive set of materials to help your IELTS preparation, check out our websites, aehelp.com, click the Join Now button. Check out glshelp.com, click that join button for general IELTS. We also have the audio there too for general students. Okay, let's answer some of these questions. So what you should have been doing, students, while you were listening and reading and thinking is visualizing, so picturing what you read. So here are the questions again. Let's see how you do. Let's try to answer these together, and I'll give you a little bit of assistance with it and how your logic should work. Logic is super important for the IELTS exam, everyone. Okay. So here you have to match the correct paragraph letter. So here you see how each paragraph has a letter at the beginning: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and sorry, no G, just D. And so you have to match that. You have to say, okay, this information came from this paragraph. Now, if you're skimming and scanning or searching for all of these, you'll run out of time. Okay, there's not enough time to scan or skim for all the questions' answers. Okay, keep that in mind. So keep this in mind, students. It's a really important tip here. Okay, without having a relatively good understanding, you cannot search, skim read for all of the answers. You will run out of time. And then you're just guessing. So you need to have some understanding, some logic to be able to figure this out. So here, number 27 says mass energy conversion, right? So changing a lot of energy. A lot of energy is being transformed. Now, let me ask you that. So first of all, okay, well, what paragraph do you think that's in? A, B, C, D, or E? Where do you think you find that information? Mass energy conversion. What do you think, students? What do you think? Where would you find that answer? Another way to ask this, I guess, is do you think it's in the beginning, middle, or the end? Okay, so think about the passage in kind of like 3 sections instead of A, B, C, D, E. Think about it as start, middle, finish. Okay, Kshit says middle. Maybe. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll send out those Zoom links, Mona, no worries. Kshit says it's when it's changing hydrogen to helium. Okay, now if you're the author, right, where would you describe the changing of energy in a star? Would you put that in the beginning, in the middle, or the end for your reader? Think about it that way. Okay, where would you put this information for the reader? Okay, it's a good way to think about it. It's a good strategy. Because then you can narrow down. So you're, instead of skim reading or scanning the whole passage, you're just looking at a third of the passage. Okay. Okay, Kishan says probably in the middle. I would probably put that in the beginning, right? It's kind of describing it. Ariadna says I would put that in the beginning. It's kind of describing how the star works. Yeah, Mona, absolutely. So Mona says I'd probably put that somewhere in the beginning, I think. So let's take a look. Okay, so in the very start, nope. B, there are 2 major types of supernova. There are a number of differences. The process, the type 2 supernova originate from a dying star. A star begins to die when it runs out of fuel. Fuel for stars is the element hydrogen. For their entire lives, stars fuse hydrogen into helium, producing energy in the process. This energy comes from differences in the mass between a helium molecule and 4 constituent atoms. Okay, so mass energy conversion, right? And it's, as we said, kind of in the beginning. Kishits, it doesn't really depend on person to person. The logic of information is going to be the same, right? So if I'm telling a story, 95% of the time the story will have the same logic. It doesn't matter who's telling the story, especially when it comes to science, right? So here, B is the correct answer. Okay. All right, so the next one here is the requirement for a type 1a supernova, beginning, middle, or end. So just answer that question first. Where should that information likely be? Okay, now this is where we really want to pay attention to the introduction as well. So there are two major types of supernovae, type 1a and type 2. Okay, so here it talks about the type 2. So where's the type 1a going to come? Somewhere in the middle. Yeah, so in the middle here kind of starts with C and D, right? So C is kind of the middle. The other type of supernova is type 1a. Type 1a supernovae are formed most commonly in binary star systems where there are two stars spinning. So the answer is C. See? That when you're looking at the information with a logical pattern, the answers will come a lot faster and you don't run out of time. You have time to properly read the passage. And your brain doesn't get super tired. Students, if you're trying to skim or scan for all of your answers, your brain's going to get super duper tired and you're going to have a lot of difficulty in the writing section as well. Okay. Supernovae as intergalactic measuring sticks. So using supernovae to measure distances. Beginning, middle, or end? What do you think? If you're the author and you're trying to explain supernovae to people, first you're going to try to explain how a star works, right? So, okay, stars work by burning off hydrogen and then helium. Then you're going to explain, hey, there's two types of supernovae, type 2, type 1a. And probably after that, you'll start to explain some interesting facts about supernovae, right? So supernovae as intergalactic measuring sticks, so measuring distances, will probably be a little bit later on. Ariadne says, I remembered that because they called those standard candles. And I think it was somewhere closer to the end, D. Yep. So let's see. Type 1a supernovae are extremely bright. It would be 5 billion times brighter than our sun. And then here, if you remembered the word standard candles, then you can actually skim read for that very easily. Right, Ariadna? So here we see it in D, standard candles. Those are the measuring sticks. Yeah. So it is D. Okay. Now, that's how quickly you should be moving, students, in the actual exam. So you should have a pretty good idea of where to start looking, what to start looking for, even if you didn't understand all of the words. And then you can search, skim, and scan with efficiency. Okay? All right. Heavy elements come from supernovae. What's a heavy element? Okay, simple question here, students. What's a heavy element? So basic chemistry, grade 10 chemistry. What's a heavy element? Helium and hydrogen are definitely not heavy elements. Heavy elements sink, right? They go down, not up. Anybody looks at a helium balloon, helium balloons go up in the sky when they get released from kids' hands at a birthday. So what's a heavy element? Ariadna says it's something like gold, platinum. Yeah, metals, right? So those metals are heavy elements. Yeah, Emmanuel says metals like gold, platino, you mean platinum in the English, and then iron. Yeah, absolutely. Those are heavy. Fun fact, I think platinum is 26 times heavier than water, right? 26 times. So a little bit of platinum would be like, ooh, smallest weight set in the world, right? So now that we know that we're talking about gold, platinum, we can look for those words, right? And we can see that every atom of gold, silver, and lead, supernovae, are responsible for every element in the universe that is heavier than iron. Every atom of gold, silver, tin, and lead, okay, are born from supernovae. So here it's E. Chromium, yeah. Lead, yeah, absolutely. Now you got it. Very good, students. Very good. I am looking at the chat here. This is interactive, students. I want to know what you are thinking. Okay, number 31, the fuel used for stars. What's the fuel used for stars, everybody? Carolina says, thumbs up. What's the fuel used for stars? Do they use petroleum, diesel? No. Emmanuel says nuclear fusion. Emmanuel, nuclear fusion is the process, but what's the fuel? So what is it using for the fusion? You're correct about the process, but what's the actual fuel, right? Is it like a human? Is it eating cheeseburgers and pizza for fuel? No. Prajwal says it's helium. Yes, but it's not the primary. The primary fuel for stars is, we try to use it on Earth, or actually we do use it on Earth, right? It's hydrogen. Very good. Kishit says it was hydrogen into helium. Okay, you should not be searching the paragraph. At this point, students, if you're doing a good job on this reading passage in the real IELTS, you should be able to answer this question without going back to search for which paragraph that came from. So which paragraph describes the use of hydrogen as fuel for the star? And again, this is where you need to remember this piece of these matching questions. NB means note, by the way. Okay, you may use any letter more than once. Hint, hint. You should be able to answer question 31 without searching for the passage. Which paragraph talks about using hydrogen for energy to create that beautiful ball of fire in the sky? A, B, C, D, or E? Hopefully everybody will get this answer. It should be B. Paragraph B talks about how that works. Now, if you have good logic, right, you should also see that, remember here it's the mass energy conversion. So mass energy conversion and using fuel for the stars is the same concept looked at it from different angles, right? So the fuel for the star is the mass energy conversion. So 27 and 31 are basically the same idea, right? Okay, logic is a very powerful tool, students. Improve your logic for the IELTS and you will improve your scores. You definitely want to work on improving your logic. Okay, so tip. Make sure to understand the logic of IELTS and practice improving your logic for the IELTS. this will help you get a higher score and be faster. Okay, so it's a two-prong win there. Okay, all right. Kaustub, yeah, B is correct. Absolutely. Good job. Okay, 32, supernovae are the progenitors of much of existence. So maybe some of you have figured this out, but progenitors here means the creators or the origin. Okay, the root. So supernovae are the progenitors of much of existence, the origin or the root. Where would you put that? Where would you put that? I would put that in one of two places, maybe in both places if I'm the author. Where would you put that? Beginning, middle, or the end? I might think about putting that in two places if I'm the author. That's why it's a little bit of a trickier question. But where does that go? Abraham, good to see you join the class. Abraham says, I'd put that in the end. What part of the essay is that, everyone? So yeah, maybe the end. I might put it in the beginning too, right? Kind of as a hook. But the end is very good. Yeah. And we'll probably find it there. So take a look. Therefore, many scientists believe supernovae are the crucibles of existence itself. So the word that the author is using instead of progenitors is crucibles. What part of the essay is this? Now, students, if you have good task 2 writing skills for the IELTS exam, you should know what part of the essay that is. It's the conclusion, but more specifically, what part of the essay is that? So, students, keep this in mind that when you understand correct essay writing for task 2, that will also help you understand the reading passages faster because they are correct essays. Okay? It's not the summary. Okay, a correct conclusion. So a conclusion, you should know this for task 2 writing. A standard conclusion paragraph has 3 parts. What are the 3 parts? Key points restated, argument strengthened, and what's the last part of a good conclusion? This isn't the Adrian method, students. This isn't AE help method. This is your standard English essay writing process, okay? Yeah, very good, Abraham. It's very good, Ariadna. It's the take-home message. It's the take-home message. So good essays will always have a message that they leave the reader with, usually the very last sentence of the essay or close to, okay? So that's why we see that here, right? Therefore, many scientists believe supernovae are the crucible. This is the take-home message. It's a take-home message, okay? So there you go. It is the last one. It's E. And again, students, learn the correct essay writing, learn the correct reading strategy. Those will kind of join together on the website. Go to your My Student account, go through the interactive course step by step. And when you're looking at the writing section, you're going to realize that, hey, okay, so there are parts here that actually relate to the reading section as well. And I actually mentioned that for you. It'll say, yeah, you need to have this in a correct part of a good essay, etc. Okay, so check that out. It's in your interactive course. Okay, make those connections, students. Reading and writing are 2 sides of the same coin. Okay, did you like that idiom? I'll write it down for you. Reading and writing are 2 sides of the same coin. What is that coin called? Bonus question time. What's that? What would you call that coin? What's the name of that coin in English? So reading and writing are two sides of the same coin. This is an idiom that means they're basically related or the same concept. For fun, what would be the right name for that coin, students? Reading and writing are two sides of the same coin. Yeah, you can use idioms in task 2 writing if you want, but you don't need to. Okay. We would probably call that coin literature. Okay, it's the coin of literature, the literature coin in this case. Okay. All right. Students, having so much fun here with you today. Okay, so now we're going to answer these questions. Short answers. Again, you shouldn't be searching the text for this. You should be able to do this mostly on your own. So choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. 33. Type 2 supernovae originate from a star which is, you should not look for the text on this one, which is what? Type 2 supernovae originate from a star which is, keep it simple. I think sometimes students overthink the answers and they're trying to think it's something tricky, but it's actually a very simple answer here. Yeah, a couple of you are getting it. Good. I can see in the chat some of you are like, oh, just keep it simple. It's a star that's dying. Yeah, sad but true. Dying is the answer here. Star which is dying. The energy producing process in a star converts something into something. One of you already answered this in the chat. Okay. Hint, questions help other questions. So if you understood question 27 and 31, you should be able to answer question 34. Okay, we need 2 words here. The energy producing process in a star converts. Converts means changes, so this has to be a noun. So it can't be mass energy into something. It's converting what, students? It's converting hydrogen into helium. Okay? Yeah, very good. Lots of you are getting it now. Good for you, okay? You're starting to figure it out. Yeah, this is not supposed to be super hard. Just good logic, good understanding. Okay? Hydrogen into helium. The death process starts when all of the hydrogen is used up. The star then begins to process what elements? So all of that beautiful hydrogen is gone. All of that beautiful helium is gone. And just says heavy elements. Yeah, the process heavy elements or heavier elements. Yeah. Heavier elements. Very good. Awesome. The first element that can no longer be fused into another element is what? So what element can no longer be fused into another element? This is fun to know. Students, like the information that you're studying always. It's kind of fun to know this. You can impress your friends when you're looking at the night sky and you're looking at those stars. Ariana says it's iron. Yes. So all of these answers are coming from paragraph B. And hopefully, if you understood it well, you can answer most of these without looking back at the passage. Okay. I'm going to quickly erase this so you're not trying to look at this right away. Okay. The big problem, didn't mean to do that. The big problem is that students try to look at the answer choices before they look at the question. So let's look at the question. The sun will not become a type 1a supernova. Why not? Okay, why will our sun not become a type 1a supernova? Remember, type 1a supernova, what do they need? What's your answer? With multiple choice, always think about your answer first and then match it. If you're trying to search for the answer, not effective, students. So the sun will not become a type 1a supernova. Why not? Think about, what does a type 1a supernova need? What do you need for a type 1a supernova? What do you need for it, students? It's a question. 2 stars. Okay? Yeah. Abraham says, because the sun is alone. It's lonely. Okay, good job, Abraham. So Abraham says, because the sun is alone. It's not alone. It's got 8 billion friends right here on Earth. Okay. Yeah, we're just not strong. Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll help the sun. We'll shoot some nuclear explosions up there for it so it can become a type 2 supernova. Okay, which one is it? C. It does not have a companion star. It doesn't have a buddy star, right? It doesn't have a little star that's its buddy. Okay. The Chandrasekhar limit is... What is it? What's the Chandrasekhar limit, students? If nothing else, learn this fun fact from this class. So what is the Chandrasekhar limit? It's the point at which the star can no longer hold its own weight and goes kabloom, right? It's the mass at which a star will blow up into a supernova. That sounds right. The distance, no. The time between, no. The distance, no. Okay. Then it must be A. That's what I said. So with multiple choice, students, the big trick is to think of the answer on your own and then choose the one that's matching. It won't work the other way. If you have no idea what the answer is, how do you know which choice it is? Do you think it's going to jump out at you? Usually not. And sometimes the wrong answer will jump at you. Okay, so if 2 type 1a supernovae are observed and one is brighter than the other, what can be concluded about the dimmer one? It's further away. Oh, there it is. It's further away. Supernovae can be compared to what? Can be compared to the creators of much of the universe. Okay, so the universe's factory, the universe's graveyard, the universe's hospital, or the universe's recycling center. What do you think? I just said creators, right? Ariadna says, well, A, it's a factory, right? It's making all those heavy elements, planets, existence, life. It's kind of a recycling center, but it's more of a factory, right? I agree. It's the factory of the universe. Okay, students, that's how reading works. Reading is best achieved with powerful logic, good visualization, good strategy, and lots of thinking. It's not a game of hunt and seek, search and scan, skim and find. It's thinking, using the old noggin. the head. Okay, that's how you're going to comfortably, accurately, quickly achieve a high band score in the reading section. And if you want to learn more of the correct strategies for the IELTS exam, visit us at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. Students, again, those websites look like this with the blue background. Click that big red button. It's a one-time payment. We are world leaders when it comes to IELTS exam preparation, and we're here to help you achieve your desired score. Students, that's it for me today. You'll have a lot more opportunity to interact with me tomorrow. We're going to use YouTube together with Zoom in combination. And then you'll be able to talk with me, practice with me. I'll give you band score estimates. General IELTS students, go to gieltshelp.com. Thank you, Carolina, for dropping the URLs into the website. I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. First day of school here in Canada. I think much of the rest of the world as well. So welcome back to school, everybody. Happy New Year to all the teachers out there. Students, let's get going. Let's make this a great school year. Hopefully everybody gets those nice high band scores in your IELTS exam. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Much love to all of you wherever you are in the world today.